with the weather like it is right now, families who might have loved ones that are out there struggling with substance use disorder and homelessness, what are some things that they can do to help their loved one? My thought is, there's families that are kind of resistant to inviting their loved one back home because of situations that might have happened in the past. But what are some things, I mean, because we've got a few professionals on here, what can they do? Because it is a real worry right now, especially if they are homeless and they can't get into one of the shelters at night, and it's going to be pretty cold, negative, and the negatives.
Contact Glory, for starters, at Do a Little Good, Northern Michigan, because she has sleeping bag jackets. She's also got a food pantry. They've got some resources that are available. I do know that that's a thing. Um, are there Code Blue facilities in Kalkaska, Suzanne?
I don't think we
Really?
have anything here as far as homelessness goes. No, and it's rough for people to get over to Traverse City or anywhere else.
Right.
So I think they a few years back they were wanting to start up a homeless shelter, and I don't think they were making what they needed. They weren't getting enough funding for it.
Gotcha.
So 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 what about families
Oh,
who
that's not first.
some families, because they've been told that if they invite their loved one home, that that's the wrong thing to do because they might not be showing the tough love that they should be showing. Tori, I like that. That look. What do you think? What's your response to that?
That's that. It's interesting that you use that specific phrase because I was just having a conversation with um, Tony Stanfield about um, what's the actor whose son just killed him and his wife, Rob Reiner. That is the exact phrase that people are using about his son, that they should have, shown him some tough love and kicked him out on the street. And that's the problem that we have, that we recognize that we have here, is that as a family member, like you're not, especially when it's this cold, like you're not going to kick somebody out into the curb because you have a heart. And my experience with individuals that have I have a brother with substance use disorder as well, and I've gone that route before, where I've just cut things off and tried to be stern about that. And in the last few years since I've gotten clean, I've spun that around and taken a more harm reduction approach to those things, and I'm not going to say that that's the exact reason that he is where he is, but we've moved him here to Traverse City. We've got him linked up. He's in the drug court program. He's about to celebrate a year clean for the first time in his adult life. I think he's been using since he was in his early 20s, and he's 42. So, and you have to meet people where they're at, I think is the thing that I've seen and experienced. It's the thing that we're trying to promote. The problem is there's such a big overlap between substance use disorder and mental health crisis. And the reason people use drugs is to navigate the mental health crisis, and we don't have those mental health resources available. We have the crisis health clinic here in Traverse City, but again, that doesn't help you out in Kalkaska.
Mhm.
But I think just trying to facilitate conversations, and at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself too. So recognizing what boundaries you can have and set up while providing enough safe space for that individual. It breaks my heart that there is nothing in Kalkaska, Mansalona, any of those areas out there, because I know those aren't the only cities. I know Grayling doesn't have anything. Um, but meeting them where they're at, I still might reach out to the homeless response system. Like I said, I know that Glory with Do a Little Good is trying to fill in some of those gaps. But these weather like this, it makes it really challenging, like because what do you do? And I Glory does also know about some encampments, and she said, most of the people who are homeless right now, it's entire families. Like,
Mhm.
they're in camps on properties, and she knows where some of those are, so she may be able to link people with, a place to go. But you still meet those same barriers. How do I get there? What do I do when I get there? What do I have? But that's a good place to start. At least it's a
Yeah.
little something.
I think my personal opinion is you need to look at the situation. As long as there wasn't any um, violence in your home with the individual, I'd rather have some tools come up missing than get a phone call that, my child has froze, you know, overnight
Mm.
because they didn't have a warm place to go. So those are things that you have to look at. It's not, there's no wrong answer, I don't think. It depends on your boundaries, what you can handle. And I don't think allowing your child, if again the situation isn't a dangerous situation, um, there's nothing wrong with letting them come back for a night or two while the weather is bad and figure out a situation from there. And who knows, maybe within that time you can, make that call to the NMRE and get them into a facility. Um, every situation is different. And you have to take every situation every day, one day at a time. It's all different. And where are they at and where are you at? And I think the old thought of just cutting them off, that's not what it's about. It's like you said, loving them where they're at and handling each situation as it comes.
And this is a time of year that treatment facilities see an influx of patients for that exact reason. Jails see a number of
Mhm.
people come in simply because, like it's a place to sleep for the night, and it's a warm bed, as sad as that is to say. Is the
Mhm.
jail in Kalkaska still closed?
It is, but they do take, I mean, they'll take people overnight and then they run them down to Wexford County.
Okay.
So,
So,
yeah, not
and
completely.
especially with someone who is a little more violent, like, unfortunately, it's not really what that was designed for, but it is
Yeah.
a resource that is available.
Yeah, and you can always try it. I mean, if you're the life is more important than anything else,
Right.
So I mean, if you're willing to try it and things don't work out, yes, you have the option of calling, law enforcement if things get a little dicey or too dicey.
And I was gonna say, BDAI, so before, during, and after incarceration, if that's the route that you go, like, might be a good point of contact, because they may have resources available as well to help that justice impacted individual. Is that the terminology I think we're using? Um, Navigate what to do
Mhm.
um, when they get out. Because of course, getting involved in the justice system,
Mhm.
it's not my recommendation if you can avoid it, but it's not unavoidable for everyone.
Right.
And there are now some resources also, and BDAI is one of those. I just put their email address in the chat as well. And there's their website too, if you want to learn more about them.